All right, good morning. Had a little glitch there, guys. All righty. So, JF, on the social media says this vertical rally seems unstoppable. They always do until they stop, right? All the time. And they always go further than we think they would. So, starting a little in reverse here, I figured I'd start out with crude oil here, which has been going in the opposite direction since October. Crude oil topped out, interest rates started moving down, and the market started moving up. And I've talked about this a little bit over the last few weeks about, that relationship. I actually talked about it all year, that inverse relationship, and about watching these relationships as they begin to potentially reverse again. And so looking at crude oil, it's had this big drop. And remember up here, if you remember the news up here, oh, it's going to 100, it's going to 100 and whatever. And maybe it would. I mean, the trend was up. And back here, we spoke about slowing momentum. And then it broke the trend and started its move down. So now it's reached its destination. It may break below it, but we know there are going to be buyers down here. How do we know that? Because we look to the left and we see, hey, back here, they stepped up. It took them a while to get it turned around, and they're going to be down here again. And you can see they were down here in 2001, give or take, this little area. And it had this strong move up. And this bottoming action, see where I'm just showing you here where it was at 130 on the weekly chart and came all the way down here and then started this little head and shoulders bottom. This is typical price action of a bottoming whatever, stock, commodity, doesn't matter, where it has this strong rally and it looks unstoppable, takes out prior highs. Not always, but often it comes all the way back down to where it started from. And when you get this kind of a strong rally, one of our thought processes, let's call it, is that look, it doesn't matter what it is. When something is coming down like this and it has a strong rally, how do you define strong? Well, like this, just multiple bars moving up in one direction, shallow retracement moves up again. If it should retest, it's buyable. Okay, that's one thought. It's buyable. Buyable when? Well, when you get a price pattern on a smaller time frame that supports it. And it could be something like what's going on, what happened down here in June, July. I don't know. It could set up some kind of a W pattern into some time next month. We just know it's coming down to major support and what I just explained. And now we wait to see. Signs of bottoming action. Oh, a wide range bar into the area of major support after a multiple bar drop, a retest, stabilization immediately. So it'll need to go sideways here. So let's just keep that in mind as we get into the end of the year and the beginning of next year. And this is something we'll be covering in January as this unfolds. We'll see how it unfolds. The other thing was interest rates, which back here in October, they started to top out, came all the way down, and now they're at an area of major support. We'll look to the left. There were buyers there before. We'll see how this stabilizes. And it's coming down here this morning a bit. Markets are, being elevated by that move down. It's the way it's been. And we'll see how long this takes to stabilize. The end of the month, the end of the year, next year. We'll just see. Something we're going to keep an eye on. And interest rates, the dollar. Dollar's already we covered this yesterday, the strength in the dollar. And kind of strange that all of a sudden they decoupled a bit from the 10 year, and we looked at the 13 week. I showed you on this line chart. Why is this starting to form this bottoming action here? Well, we're going to hear what the Fed guy has to say today. But the markets are starting to this. You don't hear it on the TV, so much media, but markets action on price charts. 13-week Treasury bill is beginning to stabilize down here, which kind of supports the idea that maybe this whole thoughts that they're going to cut interest rates in March or what have you isn't going to happen. Maybe there's one more increase in the cards. We don't know. I think everybody would agree they're closer to the end, but when is the end for real, and so on. But ideally, this would have continued to move down, and it has formed this little short-term bottom. So some flies in the bullish ointment that are going to unfold in the coming weeks and into January that you need to certainly keep an eye on. All right. Transports yesterday said we need to see them show a little strength, and they did. They did. They followed through. Not a big deal, but they didn't go down, and that was a good thing. All right, so that's a plus for the markets. Everything kind of lifted up very nicely. Another bar. It had the news and just little lift off from a consolidation. Extended. Okay, so what? Is risk rising for longs? Sure, but buyers are in control. There was a red bar ignored, green, and it's slowly advancing up toward, well, as I eyeball this on a weekly basis, that looks like it's a new all-time high. If we were to look at this on a line chart, on a weekly chart, on a daily chart, it would not be, which is going to be up here. And that looks like where it's headed toward, assuming Jerry doesn't say something that the markets don't like today. So first reference point of support is a prior bar's low. We covered that yesterday. So, and yesterday it was this bar, and now it's this bar. Does it break a prior bar's low or not? And we do the same thing on everything that we look at. So we see the markets, whether they are going to be in unison or not. Let's see here. Expiration, 2 days. Oh, hold on. I'm just checking SPX here. Let's see where this is at. I got to go to SPY before they zero these things out. Those quotes yesterday were right. They were really looking for these markets to rocket, and then things kind of petered out yesterday. And then actually they went down and kind of viciously and made that V bottom, as you can see over there. A little shakeout kind of disgusting pattern where it sold off and then came back up and grinding near the resistance, and then buyers started to move up there. We got these things mixed up here. Expiration 2 days. What's expiring today? Wow. Wow. Okay. All right, gapping up a bit. All right, let's look at SPX. So 4,700, but if it continues to move up at the open, it should be able to get 4,705. Okay. I like anytime you can get on the other side of the whole number, that's better. And 4,600, which is below yesterday's low. A move up at the open, go for the higher strike, and this one could certainly be a no-brainer at 4,600, but be out by the time the Fed news comes, or at least he starts speaking. And Bitcoin, bottom of the wide range bar, got a beat down there. Well, that rally looks like it's over for a while. Gold had the breakout, nasty move to the downside. Certainly not a controlled retracement after a power move. Remember, silver was leading the way, and why did it collapse like that? Too many sellers looking to the left, right up to that resistance area, and they all got out, hitting the bid at the same time. Semiconductors, now buyers again. Remember, they were showing relative weakness and came down, and we had that correction bar at the end of last week. Showed you that on Monday, correction bar on some of these. And that's what you need to see. When something gets extended like this, multiple bars moving up, however you measure extended, a correction bar will be a good indication that your bias should be from cautious to neutral to long again. And IWM, is this thing ready to kick it in or not? I don't know. Yesterday it was moving up and it couldn't clear the resistance. So a little bit of a correction bar on the daily chart where it took out the low. But of course, they're going to be waiting for the news. Not much to go on there unless it can break out. And I think that's it from me, Dan. Little the market's just kind of quiet here. Up a little bit, but we'll see if we get a little push one way or the other, and then wait for the news.
Good morning. Neil, I would assume so. He's their best banker. And I'm pretty sure if he left, it would have been more in the news. I love him. I've been watching him for 20 something years. So yeah, I mean, this is very bullish. I mean, the hourly charts are now just amazing. I'm sure this has to do with gamma, that the market makers are just having to buy futures as the market goes up, and that's helping this power move up. But the fact that they're doing that into a Fed is it means one thing: they ain't scared. And I said yesterday, I personally don't think it's going to be a big mover because the market doesn't believe his hawkishness. Stephanie Pomboy, I showed you silver. Pomboy was on CNBC, and she's a very smart woman. Like macro mavens, I met her many years ago in Dallas, but she's like a penultimate bear. I've never. I think Maria asked her every single time, "Hey, so are you selling into this rally?" And she says yes every time. And so, how much money have you left on the table by doing that? We're at all-time highs. I mean, it obviously would have worked here and here, but You know, she's talking about the consumer being strapped. You know, we all know that, but it doesn't seem to matter, right? Okay, they're strapped. Credit card debt's at record highs. Okay. Help me make money in the stock market, though. I don't care about that statistic. And she ended by saying she made a bet with the other two guys that she says gold's going to outperform the S&P by the end of next year. So she's there on the record saying that. Actually, let me type these for you before it scrolls up. Um, so I'll come back to those. Actually, let me just go through these quick little couple earnings here because there's not many at all. Oust. Oh, that's not earnings. We bought that yesterday. Why is that in my earnings? These are not earnings. Here we go. Here are my earnings. Mama. Uh, Mama, no pattern. Look at the volume. You know, volume we say is secondary, and we only look at it when it catches our eye to see if it suggests some type of, continuation pattern, short-term exhaustion, to turn. This was kind of turning volume here. And they did that into earnings, but no setup, so it doesn't matter. This thing ran into earnings, gapping down here. It's gapping down 20 cents. And 20 cents when it closed at 130 is massive gap down. So those bulls are not going to be happy who held. Now this was a little potential bottoming stock, 50 center. I said if it opened flat, we'll come back to it at 10 o'clock. ABM gapping up 48 bucks. That could be a short-term exhaustion, 30-minute low call spread. PLAB, I was hoping would open flat or up a little bit, I said. Nice 1, 2, 3 with a big old void. It's opening at 23. The gap's too big for me. When I said gap open a little bit, I was hoping 22, 22.10, something like that. And then I would have been all over that 5-minute high. Reb G, bullish gap, but no pattern. CGNT, rally too much in the earnings. So that's it, not many earnings. All right, let's go back to iChoose list. MA, your entry was yesterday, Aichi, and we talked about it. In the morning, Visa, I was hoping Visa would have gone sideways into 3 p.m. It doesn't care about me, and it kept rallying. So yeah, Visa, MasterCard both look higher. But this is up now 3 days, gapping up far from the 20. I'd be selling into this strength. GWW, it's fine. I mean, 20 is far from the 50. It's extended. There's so many stocks that you're just getting on board a moving train, and I use the analogy, just be careful when the music stops. You don't get caught because support is far away. Well, support, I take that back in this example. This is a nice continuation bar. Today's Wednesday, so Monday had a nice igniting bar, but it's surely not one I feel like jumping in front of the Fed meeting for. This one I would like even more if it would give me another inside bar or two, actually. This one I do. This one took out a prior low, range expansion. So this one looks good. Light clear. But let's see what it does after the Fed. Vilto, yeah, Greg mentioned this way back here or here, I forget which one. The pollution control stock. I even mentioned it yesterday in the green room. that it looked good. I was hoping in the morning with it down, I was hoping it was going to close with a 1-2-3, and then had that afternoon rally. Let's see. It's just too far from the 20 for me, but, and you know how I like butts. Look at that 15-minute chart. Look at that beautiful momentum move up, consolidation over time, higher high, with bullish trading range all day yesterday. Sometimes, well, of course it can, Raj, but I like wide range bars from consolidation. Greg and I had this talk the other day. He's like, oh, they're all far from the joint. And I'm like, well, I respectively disagree. Because if they come from a flat consolidation, one big up bar is not going to mathematically get it far from the 20. Period. You know, you got a higher closing price, you drop off 20 closes ago, and yeah, it's going to be higher than before, of course. But notice how the distance from here is different than the distance from here. But anyway, back, I see that as a beautiful 15-minute chart, maybe 5-minute day trade long. I'm stop under, this little pivot here into the close. Looks great for a day trading. J and J, yeah, let's see if they can recover from the gap down. I'm assuming that's what you mean, a buy setup, but actually, did you see the gap down? So let's set an alarm at 155. I wonder if this is falling on Pfizer news. I have no idea, but Pfizer is on my list here. Why? It's a breakdown. Why is this on my list, Doug? Well, no, I tricked you. Well, it's on my long, I didn't trick you on purpose. It's on my long watch list. And you might, and then you might say, why, Dan? It's a breakdown. My answer to you is yes, it is a breakdown. It is a bear 1-2-3 on the weekly, but it's down from 55. This was the old COVID thing. So gapping down $2.10 is a bit. No. I'm not doing anything with it. It's on my list because it's down so much. I'm going to start to watch it. Maybe it falls another $3 lower. I don't know. But it's now going into my watch list of, you will give me a bullish pattern eventually, whether it's today, tomorrow, 3 weeks from now. So some things are real companies and they're down a lot, and I will watch you. Look at Oracle yesterday. It's down a lot on major support, but there's nothing to do right now. There's nothing to do, but I'm gonna, I said, look at the month. I said the monthly. It could fall a lot, another $10. And there's nothing wrong with watching things. All right, these are a couple from Sam I Am's list on DCI, nothing to do yet, but igniting closing breakout on Monday. Oh, interesting picture. This is kind of a little bull flag rectangle. Sometimes it's gray on what you call it, but I don't care. I don't want to fight about it. It's bullish consolidation. Here's my flag pole. SUI. It's a buy setup, deep retracement. Don't expect a new high, but I have an alarm up here, 128.80. But this is the type of pattern, if the market turns, susceptible of trading. If this green bar this green bar is violated, then it's probably coming down here. Probably get a measured move lower. All right, PGR is look at insurance. Insurance sector has been extremely strong, daily, weekly, monthly. Alex forgot to give me Aflac yesterday. We were actually watching this for 3 weeks, and I finally took it off my list. And did that happen so many times? You take it off your list, and it's like boom! All right, he's done watching me. Let me rally in his face. So that looked good. So PGR, I like is a new long. Let's do 5-minute high. LRCX up alarm. I think that was a 1, 2, 3. DCI. So let's do so DCI. This was Sam, your list. DCI. LRCX alarm. It's an early alarm, nothing to do, but if it closes like this, looks fantastic. Zip alarm. This was on